I'm Melissa.
And I'm Jesse. And
this is the Reimagine Success Podcast.
We're a husband and wife team who want to make a difference.
Keeping up with the Joneses can be exhausting, and we can often lose sight of what we are accomplishing.
We're here to reimagine success and to celebrate the steps it takes us to get there.
Big or small, we want to showcase success stories that will inspire, motivate, and help propel you towards greatness in your own life.
So come reimagine success with us, and let's go on this journey together.
Hello, and welcome back to another Thursday edition of Reimagine Success Podcast.
Yes, this week is going to be absolutely awesome. We've got a fantastic guest, and I cannot wait to dive into this one.
Yes, so today we are going to be talking about living your dream without fear. That is right, without fear.
We've got an amazing guest named Tami Boyce. And Tami Boyce is a Charleston-based illustrator and graphic designer. Her work can be found at various establishments around Charleston, South Carolina, including Theater 99, Early Bird Diner, Frothy Beard Brewing Company, and the Station and Park Circle. She's got an amazing catalog of work that can be seen on her website at ammyboycecom. And I'm going to read this quote from her because I think it's just awesome and it kind of sums up her work. It says, "A love for drawing has been present in my life for as long as I can remember. I consider myself lucky to be able to incorporate what I love into what I do. I pull inspiration from my art from both my humor and my heart. Some of my illustrations are observations on life, some are memories, and some are wishful thinking as to how animals might actually behave in the wild. Take a look through my work and you'll see what I mean. I hope you see something that relates to you, touches your heart, or at least brings a smile to your face." And boy, does her artwork always bring a smile to my face. Tammy, we are so glad to have you with us. Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome, Tammy.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So Tammy and I actually go back quite a ways. She's married to my college best friend. And so I've met her a number of years ago, and she's just always been an amazing person. Our kids actually have custom artwork made by her, and everything that she's ever drawn and posted online, I'm like, oh my God, I love this. So you have just been such a great person to watch through the years and to follow your career, and I cannot wait to jump into this interview.
I can't either. So with that, let's dive in. So Tammy,
okay.
First off, what is your story? Where did the passion for art originate?
Oh gosh. Well, kind of, like the quote that Jesse read. I've been drawing ever since I can remember. And what's funny is my doodles when I was like 5 are pretty similar to the style of what I draw now. But for me, it was just always something that I liked and I did. But I was constantly told, it's like once you turn 12 or once you, actually become a teenager, no one thinks you can make a legitimate career out of art. So it was kind of like, okay, that's cute, Tammy, but like, where are you going to go to college? Sort of thing. So I never really considered art like, I don't know, a legitimate career option. I just feel like, I don't know, that's kind of what kids are told. It's like, you should love art when you're a child and then you grow up and do something serious. So yeah, my career, I went to undergrad, I just did business. And
we actually went to the same college.
It's true.
First in college. Woo!
Oh, yeah. And then, like after undergrad, I just kind of meandered and couldn't find something I loved. Nothing seemed to really fit. I did some travel and then I was like, okay, what are you going to do that like really lights you up? And then I just discovered graphic design, and I don't know why that took me so long, but to me, graphic design was a perfect way to have a legitimate career path that also involved like so much creativity. And so it was perfect. So that's how I started. And then the illustration just kind of was born after that.
Yeah. And it just, everything fell into place. I know So we are told, I know I was also told being an actress that that's not a legitimate career. You need something stable. You need a 9 to 5. You have to go into the workplace. You have to go to college. You have to do all of these things. And I think that gets programmed into our minds as young children. So I know for me, we've all heard the phrase of starving artist.
Yeah.
I know you've heard that, Tammy.
Yeah, probably like weekly, or more so. And I find it kind of offensive. I mean, and I don't consider myself the rule, definitely to working creatives. I am extremely lucky to be a full-time working creative, and I've been freelancing alone for over a decade now. And that's incredibly lucky. And honestly, freelancing just kind of fell into my lap, and I had an amazing opportunity. And so when I started on my own as a graphic designer, and then I loved illustration. So I started just kind of playing around with what I liked and involving it a little bit, a little bit more and a little bit more here and there in my design. And now I have a very like a full balance kind of with my illustration work, graphic design work, children's book, illustrations and whatnot. But when I vend and I sell like my custom art or my personal art, everyone's like, what's your real job? What do you do? Like other than this? And I'm just like, this is what I do. And you have to be business savvy, and you have to be able to pivot. And if something doesn't work, you got to change that, figure it out. But yeah, like, I don't know. I own a house. I'm a real adult. I'm responsible. And and then people just think that it's like cute that I'm just this little, hippie artist that, is selling stuff on the street or something.
So let me ask you this. With those negative voices coming into your life, you can't do this as a real job. You have to have something else. What was your mindset like when fighting through that? What kept driving you to ignore the negativity and reach for your dreams despite what people were saying?
Yeah. Well, for me, it's just, I think if you're a capable person and you can learn things, like you can do any job that's going to make you money and give you, the kind of living you want. So when I was in undergrad, I was actually like, I had no idea what I wanted to do. And everybody pushed me into accounting. And they were like, Tammy, you're smart. You can be an accountant. You'll make a lot of money. And I was like, oh,
I cannot picture you at all being an accountant. Oh my gosh. Like I could see that being the death of you, honestly.
Oh gosh. And so I would sit there in my like advisor's office, and I was like, I don't think I like accounting. I don't think, and they're like, no. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. And I was like, but I like people. And they were like, oh, okay, you could be an auditor. And then I thought,
oh my God,
don't people hate auditors? And they were like, no. And it was just like, but I felt like that's what everybody saw. Everybody was just like, be comfortable, make money, and this is happiness. Which is probably why I floundered so much after undergrad. So when I went to design school, it's just, everything really clicked, and I loved it, and it lit me up. And then through discovering illustration, I just kind of continued that. Like, I love my graphic design work, but at the same time, I still felt like a lot of it was missing, I don't know, a part of me, sort of. So really, I guess the inspiration was just like, what makes me happy, what lights me up. And then I just kind of always continued to explore that. And really, honestly, I thought that illustration was just a hobby, especially when I started. I had no idea. I'm very much self-taught in the illustration realm. So I had no idea what I was doing. And then it's kind of neat though, to formulate a technique and a style all your own. And then when you actually make pieces that resonate with people, and then the more I did it and the more I kind of like was vulnerable and put myself out there, it just, I don't know, became a whole different thing.
Well, and it's funny earlier, you say all these people say, go get a 9 to 5, go do
Yeah.
something real. I think what you're doing is the absolute realest thing that you can do, because not only are you doing the work, but you're also doing the marketing. You're also the business person. You're also the business owner. You also have to, create these reputation. You have to create relationships with your clients. So all of that all around
Yeah.
is a business in itself, more so than what these 9 to 5 people that are doing. So props to
Yeah.
you for going and doing your actual dream and living your best life.
Thank you. And so it's not always easy either. Sometimes like there are days where it gets frustrating, and that's when I wish, I'm like, oh, see, this is when the 9 to 5 person can just go home and clock out.
Right.
But I work from my home, in my home studio, and like a lot of times the kind of frustration is I don't ever feel like I clock out, because it is what I love, and it's such a huge part of my life that I think the more that I've done it, I've gotten a lot better at creating boundaries.
And I'm sure that inspiration hits at whenever, like different moments. It could be 12 o'clock at night when you're winding down for bed and you think of something. Do you ever get up out of bed and start working in the middle of the night, or when inspiration hits you? I
feel like maybe 10 years ago I used to, but now I feel like I'm old and married, so I don't do that. But what I do is, like, I have a horrible memory. It's like I call it my fishbowl memory. And so whenever I do have an inspiration or idea, I text it to myself. And then, like, right now I'm getting ready to do a new show and a new series for December. And it's so funny when I put together a show, I'll just go through that text string and write down all the ideas that I've sent to myself, from the last time I did a show. And it's hilarious because some things I don't even remember. And then I'll be like, what is that? Oh, that idea is crap. But then I'll have like really good ones. And then I kind of like formulate what I'm going to do from there.
Yes.
That's awesome. Yeah, I do the same thing with music.
Me too.
I'll be driving down the road and I'll have a musical idea and I'm like, I got to just record a little snippet of this or text myself something about it or some lyrics.
Right.
And then I go back and revisit. And let me ask you this, because I sometimes find that with music, if I don't pursue it fast enough in like following up on that idea, that sometimes I'll lose the motivation behind the idea and it won't work out. Does that ever happen to you with your art?
Yes. And timing is such a huge part of it. Like, there's, I think, series that I thought were going to be amazing, and then maybe I did leave them too long. And then when I revisit it, it's just not touching me in the same way. So instead, like, a lot of times I'll just abandon it. And I'm like, all right, maybe it'll seem cooler like 3 months from now. And it's just not striking me now. But then there's other times, like there's a book, my next children's book that's coming out, which is fully written, but I haven't actually sat down to draw it yet. And I've had this stumbling block because I see it in my head, but I couldn't think of how to like get it on paper and look exactly like I wanted it to look. And so now through this new series, I'm actually using like characters and a lot of like similar themes and ideas that are going to be like a teaser to the upcoming book. But working on this series, I like finally nailed the aesthetic down. And I think like in my head, I've just thought I was like procrastinating, but now that I like actually worked out the visuals, I'm so glad that I didn't rush the book just to get it out by like some, fake deadline in my head. So now it's, sometimes that time, if you really like sit in it, it helps. Whereas sometimes I feel like you can, like you said, lose the momentum. And
Yeah. And what I think is awesome about that is, our podcast is all about reimagining success. And a lot of people might say, well, the book would have been more of a success for you than the series. But in fact, the series is probably more successful because it's going to drive the production of your book even better. And you're going to end up being more creative for the book because you put that aside for a minute and did your series first.
Yeah. And I've really taken the time to kind of work out the characters like exactly how I want them, which is really like, I do that for my clients. Like if I'm doing someone else's children's book, like we go through the whole like character development and rough sketches and edits. But I feel like when it's something for my personal work, I put it together much faster and I don't give myself that same like critique and time. And so with this, I think it's like my first project where I've really like not been impatient and I've just, been like, just slow down, get this one right, because it is like such a personal and like, I don't know, really special story to me. So I really didn't want to just rush it and ruin it.
Are you able to give us a little bit of a teaser about what the book's about?
I can. The title is called You're Weird, I Like You.
Oh, I love that.
I love it.
Yeah. And it's really just like a celebration about, like, I think there's so many stories out there where maybe you look different and, and that's your hardship. But I feel like there's so many kids out there, like, I didn't look that different, but I was not like the other kids at school. And it can be very isolating and you can't really pinpoint like why you're weird. You're just a weird little kid. And when you grow up in small rural South Carolina, maybe I wasn't surrounded by like necessarily my people. So it's really like the inspiration was I found one friend he is still my best friend. And he just got me. And it was like, we were just two little weirdos, doing weird stuff. And we were not popular. But it was just, we had so much fun. And when you meet that first person that just gets you, and you can feel comfortable in your own skin and you really start to embrace like, okay, I like who I am and maybe I'm not like everyone else, but you just need to find like your tribe,
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. I think both of us resonate with that so unbelievably.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. Because actually, I'm from South Carolina as well. And when I was in school, I was also the weirdo. I was the drama club like freak and was, theater was my life. And, there's a lot of kids out there that don't know why that they're special, but the actual word instead of weird is special. You are special and you have special, unique gifts, which actually for everyone makes you weird.
Mm-hmm.
And so
I
love
don't think there should be a bad connotation with
No.
weird.
No,
and
definitely not.
And I, I've done prints before where it's like embrace your inner weirdo. And when it's so funny to like, when you're selling your art and watching people like come up and talk about it in front of you. And, and this woman was like, I don't think you should use the word weirdo. And I'm like, no, I'm reclaiming it. Like that's something we should celebrate.
Yes.
And I tell my niece all the time, like actually the title came because I look at my niece who is such an amazing little weirdo. And I'm like, you're weird. I like you. And I just want her to grow up like celebrating it. And I just, hope if anything, I've encouraged her to just, you're weird, but like just sit in it and enjoy it,
Just keep being weird and discover how that weirdness is going to propel you into the rest of your life.
Right. We tell the kids all the time that they are weirdos and we love it. We're all dorks.
They are.
Yeah, they are. She knows our kids.
Very well. Tammy is.
I know. And
I mean, of our
and
kids
I say that. I know. I love it. Like they're fantastic kids. Like, no, I mean, normal kids, I don't know who wants that.
Who wants that? So Tammy, what advice are you going to give to those creative types that wants to be an artist and is doing it as a hobby, has heard all those negative connotations? What advice would you give them to get out of the fear and to live their dream?
That's a great question. There's so much and while like I think I'm so lucky to do what I love, I think if you are going to go down that path and try to embrace like a hobby and try and make it a career, you also have to be smart and practical about it. Like I'm not one of those people that's like, follow, your dreams, do what you love and the money will come. It's like, well, I mean, if you can't actually pay your rent, like, then you maybe need a side hustle. So I think the smartest thing is to just really find something you love. Like graphic design was it for me. Like there are so many careers out there that people just don't know about or don't think are a viable option. I mean, you can, be a graphic designer and crush it and, make all the money you want, whatever. But I think it's smart to at least have some skill that is marketable. And then whatever it is that you want to do, like if you're creating your own art, like that's great. And maybe people will love it, but maybe you can't make your sole income on that. So just try and like, you know, make sure you have different income streams and kind of different skill sets. Like I do a lot of different stuff. Like I do client work, but then I do, you know, the retail of my own personal artwork. And for me, I love to keep it every day very different. I think if I was doing just one of any of those things, I'd get really burned out. So I don't know. I would just say try a lot of things. There's so much greatness that can come in through trial and error, which is, you know, kind of where you can find out what people really like and what works for you.
Right. And everyone has to learn and they have to grow and become their own best self in whatever you want to do, which is what, you know, we really want to get out there in the world, is to reimagine your success and whatever that looks like, to celebrate it every single day.
Yeah.
So speaking on that, Tammy, what is your current and recent success stories that you would like to celebrate, no matter how big or how small?
I think the thing, honestly, and I know we already touched on it, the thing I'm most excited about is the upcoming book and launching that.
And
I feel
put
like
us down for a copy of that, by the way. I want a signed first edition.
Yes. So much of my early work were kind of like, you know, like just one panel comics, or everything like kind of had a punchline. And then like through the pandemic, when we were all like just forced to sit with ourselves and we were so isolated, I don't know, it was a lot of time to think. It was a really hard year for me. And then my last two series, the one I'm working on now and the one that I put out at the end of 2020, it just made me really evaluate, like, I'm so lucky to have the relationships and connections of the people I do. And even though we had a year where we didn't see anyone, like the people that came through and showed up for you, like it was the saddest time, but it was also like a really beautiful thing. So my last two series have been so much more personal and I feel like very vulnerable. So to me, that's a huge like success, is to really, I'm just getting, I feel like, better about putting all of me out there and not just maybe this like one funny, happy version of me. Now you're getting to see like the dark, sad stuff too.
That's amazing. And being creative types ourselves, putting yourself out there, which is your work, which is my acting, Jesse's music, your art, putting yourself out there can be so scary and fear-driven, because you feel like you're going to get judged and everyone is going to judge you. What if they don't like your work? All these what if questions start coming into your mind. I know that's personally happened for me. And so what advice would you give to those out there that have those, you know, what if questions, that doubt, that fear, to not even put their work out there?
Oh, I feel like, and again, through a decade-long process of putting my stuff out there, like I was terrified when I did my first art show, and looking back on it, I had no idea what I was doing. I literally just printed like loose sheets of paper and was like, I'm selling it. I mean, it was just, I had no clue. But I just, you know, I tried it, and for me, like, I can completely empathize. Like, I've gotten a lot of bad comments and negative feedback directly to my face. And when I first started, like, that would make me want to stop. Like, those comments will stick with you, and it's very hard to brush off. But I feel like when you push through, and now I've gotten so much better, and now when people give me negative feedback, it doesn't shut me down like it used to. But also when people get it and you have the positive feedback, it's just so worth it. And I feel like if I had never tried to do anything with my own art, like, I think wondering the what if, like, if you never tried and you were like, what if I had been a household name and been the best artist in the world, but you never tried it? Like, I would rather fail every day than sit there and wonder, like, oh, well, what if I had been brave enough to like really put myself out there? Like, what would have happened?
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I think fail.
Just
whatever.
fail every single day and grow. Failing equals growth.
Yeah. I think getting to the end of your life full of regrets is probably one of the worst things I can imagine. I would much rather, like you said, do a million things poorly than regret never trying them.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the same with relationships or anything in your professional life, like, what is that? you miss all the shots you don't take, you know? So it's like, you know, talk to that cute girl, try and do something weird. I don't know. Just always push yourself to do new things, and you never know how awesome it could turn out.
Yes.
Definitely. I would like to say, as a fan of your work, that I'm super excited to see these next couple series. Your Put a Monocle series, Put a Monocle on it, is one of my favorites. It's like for those of you that aren't familiar with Tammy's work, you need to familiarize yourself with it immediately. She's got all these like amazingly cute little animals that are dressed up in all these fancy clothes with a monocle on, and they're just so freaking good. And I just want to plug a couple other things while I'm thinking about it. With the holidays coming up, she has an amazing series of holiday cards and just cards in general, all kinds of different stuff that you could order off her website that would be great gifts for people in your life. I would highly recommend her stuff for Christmas gifts for people because it's personalized, it's cute. You even do what's the word I'm looking for? Like
commission?
Yeah, commission work. So like if you have a specific idea of something you want to see created into art, Tammy would be the best person to do it because I've seen some of those commission pieces and they are just stunning, and I'm definitely going to have one of those done eventually for myself.
Well, thank you.
And so speaking on that, Tammy, go ahead and let everyone know how they can find you. Where can they go? Your social media, your websites.
Yes, my website is tammyboyce.com, and that's Tammy with one M, one I. And yes, my Instagram is at Tammy_draws, and then my Facebook is Tammy likes to draw. So yeah, I post a lot of my new work there. You can buy everything. I have a pretty large collection on my online store. And then if you were in the Charleston area, you know, I'm obviously in a lot of local retail outlets around here too.
Yeah, so last week we actually had Michael Biondi from Frothy Beard, my brother, and Tammy did all the original artwork for Frothy Beard and created their logo and everything. And it's just it's so cool to see your work intermingled with that business because it's like it goes hand in hand for me. Like it can't be Frothy Beard without Tami Boyce art.
Right. And
it's so neat how many people recognize it. Like if I'm vending at the farmer's market and people are like, oh, you do Frothy Beard, right? And it's just, it's really nice, like for people to just, I don't know, correlate the style and see that. So yeah, and that obviously has been so fun. I mean, working with Frothy for a million years now.
Because you do have a very unique style, and it's so cute and fun and personal
and recognizable.
Yes, exactly.
Oh,
there's not a lot of artists that I see out there that I can look at it instantly and tell, oh, that's so and so. But yours, you have such a definitive style, and I love that about your art.
And for those,
well, thank you.
I was just going to say, for those out there, it's Tammy, Tami, and the last name is Boyce, Tami Boyce.
Yeah, and we'll put links for all this in our show notes, and that way you can find it, and we'll share all of that. And we're going to share some of Tammy's artwork on our stories throughout the week on our Facebook and Instagram. Tammy, this has been absolutely amazing, and I know that I'm even more inspired hearing you speak after today, and we are just so thankful that you came on to be our guest today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. It's so nice to talk to you guys.
And thank you for taking your time out of your busy life. I know it's not always easy. So we appreciate you so much, and we appreciate your creativity and your art, your passion, and we love that you're giving it to the world and sharing your gifts, and you are so loved, and you are so unique and so valuable to this world.
Absolutely.
Oh, you guys are great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Okay.
Wow, that was amazing, Jesse.
That was such a good interview. Tammy has such a great spirit and heart and just passion for what she does, and I cannot wait to see her new stuff.
Yes, I can't either. And I hear that we're going to get a little sneak peek. So if you guys want to head to the Reimagine Success Pod at any of your social media, you can get a sneak peek of her new artwork.
Yep, and you can find that on all social media platforms at Reimagine Success Pod. And you can also find us online at reimaginesuccesspod.com. And you can email us with any comments or questions or feedback at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com.
And share your success story with us. We would love to hear what successes you have going on in your life currently. And with that, this is a Creative Global Entertainment production. Did you get motivated? Do you feel inspired?
Don't worry about keeping up with the Joneses anymore, and don't forget to celebrate your successes every single day. Thank you for taking this journey with us.
Follow us at Facebook and Instagram at Reimagine Success Pod. Email us at reimaginesuccesspod@gmail.com and let us know what your successes are.
New episodes every Thursday at reimaginesuccesspod.com.
So let's change our mindsets and reimagine success.